Let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Merely Bo, the great Z. How you doing, buddy? How you living?
Good, dude. Got the boards going. Playoffs.
Schwartz.
Let's
Playoff
go.
boards.
Schwartz
Schwartz is
He's
ready to go. Let's go. Here's Coach Schwartz.
A lot of yards is you also turn
You're done.
a lot. And, it's been impressive what he's been able to do. We're going to have to play tight coverage. We're going to have to stay after him in the pass rush. And we're going to have to limit run after the catch because he does a good job of giving his guys opportunities to run after the catch, including Nico Collins, who's that's one of the things he does best.
Jim, go ahead.
I was just going to say the list of breaking quarterbacks who win their first playoff game is very short.
Yeah, Joe Flacco was one. Yeah, he beat me. 2008 Titans. Just could never make a mistake. I think we turned the ball over like 4 times in the plus 20. Chris Johnson started off the game. He had like 100 yards in the first quarter and then got an ankle sprain and missed the rest of the game. But yeah, Joe was a rookie, and it was a low-scoring game. But he got it. So I'm glad Joe's on our side, and I'm glad history's sort of on the other side.
Years in the league, do you feel the pressure of a playoff game affects rookies?
I don't know. I'm sure it just depends on the guy. I can't speak for him. I think playoffs come down to, who can be themselves the best, if that makes sense. Can we be the best version of ourselves versus the Texans being the best version of themselves? I think that's, that's when it's all said and done. You've got 17 games under your belt. There's not a whole lot you're going to pull out that another team hasn't seen, and really at this point of the year, people are going with what they do best. And, so I think that has a lot to do with it. I really can't worry about him and how he'll treat the game as much as we're just focused on our guys and how we're going to treat the game. We know it's the playoffs. Every mistake is amplified. Every big play is amplified. A mistake can send you home. A big play can help you advance, and that's what it is. It's single elimination football, and whatever you can do to advance each week, that's what you have to do, and that's where our focus is.
Jim, when you first got here and met with Miles, did you set expectations for him in any way? And if so, over the course of the season, the year, how has he responded?
Yeah, I'll keep conversations I have with players to myself and to the player. If they want to talk about it, that's fine, but I don't think it's my place to reveal those kind of conversations. But he has been everything that we expected. He affects the game every single time he's on the field. He's played well against the run. He's played well against the pass. One of the best players. I said this a few weeks ago. Probably one of the 3 best players I've coached in 31 years.
Jim, I saw a stat. You guys have forced more punts than any team since the 1999 Ravens. So what does that say about just consistency, the way you've been playing defensively?
Yeah, that sort of goes hand in hand with our third down percentage. We were number 1 in the NFL in third down percentage, and when you're winning those snaps, you're going to force a lot of punts. Our job, and I've said this before, our job is to limit scoring and to try to get the ball back for the offense. And after a slow start and turnovers, I thought we did a pretty good job. I don't know where we finished, but we were in that top 5 area. I don't know where it ended up. But we've done a good job there. We've done a good job getting the ball back for the offense. When you win on third down, when you force punts, you've done your job, and that's why we concentrate. We spend a lot of time. Today's a third down day, and our ability to get off the field on third down is a lot. It means a lot to us. Cover guys, rush guys, keep drives from continuing. We've done a good job of nipping drives in the bud with good third down percentage, and that's going to be a big part of this game.
What's your
Jim,
go ahead, Mary.
I know
how you feel about Mike Vrabel and, you know, the chance that he gave you to do what you did for those couple of years there. And I was just wondering, you know, what your thoughts were on him getting let go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I have a lot of respect for Mike and admire him a great deal. But, you know, this is a playoff game. I would just want to keep the focus on Texans and the Browns.
Hey, Jim, you've been in the league a long time. I know quarterback injuries have had something to do with this, but it feels like going into the playoffs, defenses have always been important, but it seems like they're more impactful than ever. I think 5 of the 6 top scoring defenses are in the playoffs. You guys have had a sensational year. The rules have always seemed to be stacked against defenses, but do you feel like it's maybe swinging in the other direction?
I don't know. I mean, we just concentrate on trying to play within the rules that we're given and, like I said, try to limit scoring and get the ball back for the offense and, you know, potentially put them in scoring position. You know, I mean, the league goes through so many cycles. It's hard to say. You know, but being a defensive coach, you know, I mean, there is that adage, you know, hey, defense wins championships, and teams that I've been around, you know, when you play good defense in the playoffs, you give yourself a good chance.
Looking at how that dealt with the return to practice, is it too much to ask for a Saturday game for him after being out 4 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even seen him out there yet, so, you know, I'll let Kevin handle those questions, but it's a good first step for him. He's been working extremely hard. I mean, you talk about a driven dude. I mean, he is, you know, I mean, he's been really driven to get back. We'll see where it goes.
And with Thornhill missing time also during that time, how have the Pickman and Anthony Bell and even Harmon done?
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about those guys. You know, they were 4 or 5 and not on the depth chart at the beginning of the year. And they've come in and, you know, played really good football for us. And I mentioned this before about Ronnie, a little bit talking about C.J. Stroud. Usually when you're rookies, you know, they can do their job, but they need somebody to tell them what to do or somebody else to make the calls. When Juan was down, when Grant was down, Ronnie really became the glue of our secondary and communicated as good, if not better, than any rookie safety I've been around. And I think that's, you know, he's made plays. He's tackled well for us, overlapped in the passing game. You know, D. Bell's made a lot of big plays for us, and Harmon had an interception against these guys. He's given us that, you know, that veteran steadiness that we lost with Rodney McLeod. But, you know, having lost our top 3 safeties for significant portions, you know, the game doesn't care. Playoffs don't care who's playing. You know, so those guys have stepped up and, you know, have been able to do their job in our scheme.
Did you see Obo come back, and did he show you enough against Cincinnati that you think he can be a viable part of this rotation?
Yeah, we just wanted to get him going a little bit in that game, just sort of pick and choose our spots, but he's certainly in the mix. And, you know, if he can give us some good pass rushes, give us some good snaps, that'll go a long way. Keep some of the other guys fresh, but, you know, he's been a big part of our third down success. And we've missed him over these last 5 weeks, whatever it's been, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I can't keep track of time now, but it's good. It was good to see him back out there. He brings a lot of energy to the practice field, and I'm confident he can make some plays on Sunday.
To go back to the safeties, I know Rodney obviously hasn't been able to play, but the fact that he's stuck around here and rehabbed, how crucial has he been to bring those younger guys and Duran around when he got here, and just now that you guys are in this critical stretch here?
Yeah, you know, he's found a way to contribute even without being on the field. And, I mean, I could be here for a month talking about the respect that I have for Rodney. You know, he wore the helmet for me 2 different teams. And another guy that I just totally respect and admire. And it's just right in his character that when he was injured that he's still going to find a way to contribute. Anthony Walker has done the same thing for us. And, you know, he had to miss some time, but he's back in our building now. You know, all those guys have stayed close. Mo Hurst has stayed close. All veteran guys. And they realize that their contribution to the team doesn't begin and end, or doesn't end with the game field or the practice field. They've been able to find a way to contribute. And, our success has a lot to do with that.
Time for one more.
Is that normal, Jim, that guys who are on the injury reserve, maybe done for the season, stick around like that, or is that more unique, you think, this?
It depends. Sometimes it's a matter of, somebody has a family that's in the area or, something else. I just think, those guys just, they've been around. They know this is a special season and a special team, and they want to continue to be part of it. A couple days ago, I was telling the team some of the similarities I saw between our team in 2017 with the Eagles, and probably the biggest one is how much the players enjoy each other. They genuinely root for each other and genuinely like to be together and practice, and that continuity has taken us through a lot of tough times this year. I mean, we've had some things put in our way over the course of the year, but you don't see the frustration show on the field. You don't see guys throwing helmets or yelling at each other, or you don't see the jealousy, or you don't see finger pointing, and that was probably the thing that stood out the most between like our team and where we've been. A lot of people have made thing of lost a starting quarterback and veteran replaces him and multiple injuries and things like that. But I just say our team genuinely has fun together, and you can do some things as coach to try to push them in that direction, but it has to come organically from them, and that's been developing over the course of the whole season. I think we're stronger now as a result of some of the tough times we've been through, and we're going to have to rely on some of that resilience as we go through this playoff season. Like I said, a great play can propel you. A missed opportunity, a drop pass, a dropped interception, a missed assignment can send you home. It's high stakes, and I think our guys are ready for that challenge. Mm-hmm.
You're up.
Certainly was high stakes and will be high stakes on Sunday, but thankfully that's the guy piloting the ship for us on that side of the ball. His impact immediately noticed in camp has been there all year. The attitude, the togetherness, nice shot out of you.
Thank you.
Appropriate. Fantastic hat out of a big L there. That's good. He's focused, locked in. So much of the last month has been Flacco, but the bedrock of this team has been that defense all year.
Yeah, it's the engine. You heard Ben Bloom say it at the beginning of the last sideline to sideline. This defense has been spectacular. It's been historically good in many instances. And yet that has been the engine. And you're kind of pairing that with what has become a big play offense, it started to become at the end of the Deshaun Watson run, and then is again now with Joe Flacco, and certainly prolific throwing the football, and that's been a good marriage. I still think this team has room to improve offensively. It's got room to stop turning the football over, and then defensively, it has room to improve in the red zone. It has not been a good red zone or a goal line defense, and I think in the playoffs, turnovers are going to be a big part of it, and then turning potential sevens and limiting those to threes, those are wins in the playoffs, and that's something that this football team needs to do. And I'm sure Jim Schwartz is preaching it like a Dom's got.
He's got the J's.
He's got some
threes.
heat on the feet tonight.
Like
Yeah.
Oh,
Very nice.
Sure.
Yeah, he loves it.
Of course he is. What colorway is that? I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell. It was like
they dropped some navy ones over the
I don't
holiday.
think it was navy. It looked like
it's
a gray navy.
It's a gray on the toe, and then it's got a navy where the red is on the threes.
Ooh.
And that could have been
That could have been it.
Or it could have been they did a black one where it's gray with the black. It could have been one of those. Yeah,
definitely some gray.
Look great. Yeah,
beautiful.
No, it is, and it's when you think about we talked. Yes, we'll talk about this matchup all week, obviously, and people are talking about it around the league as well. This story of C.J. Stroud. A rookie quarterback having the year he had is historic. This defense has been historic, and the things that we do well seem to fit well with what they do well.
Yep.
So it is a strength versus strength matchup on this side of the ball.
Very much so. And I think that, when Case Keenum was in there, he was trying to get the ball out quickly. The Browns knew that. They were able to come up and tackle. With C.J. Stroud, he will hold the ball, and he can make plays down the field. And so it's going to be very important for the Cleveland Browns to make sure they cover. Don't give up the chunk plays. It really is kind of like Nico Collins is a one-man band. They're not throwing the ball to anybody
Tank
else.
Dell's been out for a while now.
Tank Dell's
and-
out for the season.
And he's
Like-
been out, and so they don't really have
No.
anything else consistently.
Last week, Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson were the other two receivers that played 38 snaps and 36 snaps. Collins played 47. Mechie had 1 catch for 5 yards. Hutchinson had 1 for 6. It was Nico Collins had 195 of the 264 yards passing. Dalton Schultz had 5 for 42. Those two, that's it.
Yeah.
Really, it is. Take Nico Collins out of the game, make somebody else beat you. I don't know that they can. I like our guys one-on-one with Mechie and Hutchinson and even Noah Brown, who's been out with a back injury. You don't know if he's even going to be ready to go. Robert Woods has been missing time with a knee. He's not a spring chicken by any stretch of the imagination.
I saw he was back today at practice, though, for them.
He's slowed down, though.
No, for sure. It's not what he
considerably.
was, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about big play guys. Mechie is the guy. Take him out. I feel like the Browns are in a pretty good spot. I mean, not Mechie's the guy. Collins is the guy.
As you were obviously this is a totally different game to prepare for than the last time around because of Stroud's availability. When it comes to Nico Collins, how do they utilize him? Do they move him around a lot as you've started to get into this? And then how will we counter that? Well, because we just stay where we're at mostly, right?
Yeah, they'll move him around, but I think what we will end up doing is kind of the way that we approached the second half really in that Jets game.
Yeah.
And what we did was Ronnie Hickman kind of rolled towards Garrett Wilson. And, yeah, you can move him around, but we can move with that
Two
too.
everywhere, yeah.
And when you did that, it's okay, you're going to have to throw it somewhere else. And I think that is exactly what the Browns need to do in this one. Take Nico Collins out of this football game, and let's see what we can do. Now, to do that, though, you play a little bit more too high safety than you normally would.
Yeah.
Or you can just say, look, you guys are going to be on your island on the other side, MJ against Mechie and whatnot, and I think you'd feel fine about that. But then they're going to try to run the ball with Devin Singletary. He's got 3 100-yard games this season. So I think for the Browns, ultimately, though, I'm less afraid of that than I am of Nico Collins making.
Sure.
He had 109. Nico Collins this year has 4 games with 140 or more yards. He's got 5 games with 100 yards, 4 with 140 or more, 2 with 190 or more.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Big time.
Take him out and make them go elsewhere to beat you, and I think you've got a pretty good shot in this one.
It's interesting that how all of this is coming together with this matchup and all of it, and obviously I'm aware of it, but it didn't really hit me until you mentioned that it would be Hickman rolling over like he did on Garrett Wilson. I mean, who has played more against C.J. Stroud than Ronnie Hickman?
Probably, certainly.
I mean,
nobody on our team.
How many snaps in practice over the last 3 years has Ronnie Hickman been on the opposite side of C.J. Stroud down in Columbus? So he would, whatever traits he has, he certainly would have a familiarity with what C.J. is looking for more than anyone else would
And vice
at
versa.
a free safety. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In a free safety position, there wouldn't be anybody else in the league that would have the familiarity with C.J. the way that Ronnie Hickman does. So there you go. That is Jim Schwartz, and that is our defense, and that will be the headliner of this matchup. Will be how those two things deal with each other. Lots more to continue to get you prepared for. Take a look at where we stand from a health standpoint. Another practice, back to practice today. Practice going to start here in about 7 minutes. We'll have some updates on who's in, who's out, all of that. That is coming up next. We're off and running. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Pet Supplies Plus is a winning team. They crush the competition with everyday low prices, more selection, and a powerhouse lineup of fan favorites like Purina, Pro Plan, and more. Great for dogs, cats, fish, and reptiles. Pet Supplies Plus is your MVP. Time for the Hot Topics of the Day, presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Browns back on the practice field in about 3 minutes out there. The injury report we'll get to in a second. In terms of the Texans, though, Gibby, you have a look at who's in and who's out down there.
Yeah, they just took the field about 25 minutes ago. Aaron Wilson reporting not practicing today. Noah Brown, Grenard, Jerry Hughes, Will Anderson Jr. for a second straight day. Texans returning to practice, Laramie Tunsil, Shaq Mason, Robert Woods, and Malik Collins.
So the
Anderson is to what?
and Grenard.
Grenard and Anderson both, yeah.
I wonder if Grenard is a vet day off maybe.
Yeah.
Dude, Grenard has not played since we played him.
It's been a while.
Did he practice yesterday?
No.
Was he DNP yesterday?
Yes.
He was DNP yesterday.
Yeah, no, he has not played. And obviously, if he was able to play last week, that was a playoff game for them. He would have played. So he has not seen the field since he got injured against us. So that would be big. If he's out and you're looking at Will Anderson. Now, Anderson was able to play last week, but I don't think he was able to do much. Actually did not play many snaps. It was down from the week before when he first came back from the injury. He had the 2 sacks 2 weeks ago against Tennessee. That's their top 3 pass rushers. Derek Barnett would be then the next top pass rusher on the outside. Grenard's got 12.5 sacks, and he had that going into the game against us.
Right.
Will Anderson's got 7. Jerry Hughes has 3. Derek Barnett's got 2.5 in 6 games with Houston. He's played well, but they could be down to Derek Barnett and Myjai Sanders, and they might have to bring somebody up off of the practice squad. They've got 3 defensive ends on the practice squad: Kerry Hyder, Ali Gay, and I'm gonna have to get my pronunciation.
Big drop off, Coach.
Adedeo Odolele.
You said it.
And I don't know if I
said
said
it,
it
brother.
right, but
Said it
that's what I
emphatically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will be something that bears watching, obviously.
That's massive. You knew Malik Collins was going to be back, and you knew on the line Tunsil and Shaq Mason would be back. Those guys have been there basically the whole time this season. Tunsil
And I guess
made another Pro Bowl as well.
So I guess the practice you're looking, our old thing is pay attention to the Friday practice,
which is tomorrow.
right?
Yes. So tomorrow, if you get DNPs again from Anderson and Grenard, they're good. They'll be ruled out, most likely.
Jeez. Yeah. Everybody in the league's banged up. We're no exception to that, and we'll get a look at who's practicing for us today and who is not relatively shortly. I would think it would be coming at any moment in terms of who's in and who's out. In the meantime, the team announced earlier today that they've designated safety Grant Delpit to return from IR. Jim Schwartz was asked about this. He says leave that up to Kevin. But he, what is your sense on Delpit?
Exactly. Not this week.
No. Okay.
Would be my sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Not this week. I think you're opening the window, hoping we do some things here. You've got a chance to get Grant Delpit back, maybe in the divisional round at the earliest. But I don't think this week. No.
Okay. So
I mean, like you said, you haven't even seen him on the practice field.
You got at some point you got to get out there and go a little bit before you can go play in an actual NFL playoff game.
Right.
So Bell and Hickman then is where we're at, and then Thornhill outside hope, but. As you mentioned yesterday on the show when talking about Hickman and the way that he was handled in the game on Sunday, perhaps something to read into that.
Yeah, it just gives you a little bit of pause onto whether or not what you'll have there with Juan, if he's going to be able to go, and even if he is, it feels to me like it would be one of those situations like when he first came back against the Jets, where he and Hickman were on the field together a bit, and I think that would be maybe the way that you go there, but. Hopefully Juan Thornhill, and I think there is some optimism that he is going to be able to play this week. But my guess is you're going to see Juan Thornhill, and you're still going to see plenty of Ronnie Hickman. I don't think there's any question about that.
And then beyond that, I'm just thinking even from a depth standpoint beyond that, that's you're what, 4th, 5th safeties?
Yeah, but they're playing like
they played
starters.
well, though.
D'Anthony Bell's been great for you. He's got 2 picks. Deron Harmon's the veteran. He's got a pick and is reliable. So you're actually, I think, in safety, you're in as good a spot as you've been, in weeks. Because if Thornhill's back and now that Hickman and D'Anthony Bell have gotten that experience and they're playing at such a high level, that you feel pretty good about it. I feel good about our safety room. I really do. And I think that, Juan is a guy that certainly they probably are judicious with to make sure that he is ready to go for the playoffs. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champ. He's
you want it.
He's
Need
done
it.
it. He's been out there. The moment will not be too big for him. And I think that if you're the Browns, no, you're feeling pretty good there. I think there's supreme confidence in Ronnie Hickman, and I think the praise that he received from Jim Schwartz in that press conference earlier today was effusive. I mean, said he was, in terms of the rookies he's been around, he's the best communicator and is playing as well as anybody.
There was an all-rookie team that was put out this morning from a publication that had him on it as the safety, that had Hickman on the all-rookie team as a safety.
Really?
Had him listed, yeah. It was. I remember it came up in the morning occupation. So, yeah. Look at this guy. Jeez.
Look at, I mean.
It's he in some sort of
It's
a
another
little plaid,
custom. Look at, and he's got a little, like a chukka.
little chukka.
Yeah.
Oh. Why not?
Why not?
Running
Why
a
not?
business.
Yeah.
Team also signed cornerback Kalen Barnes to the practice squad. He's in his second season out of Baylor, originally drafted by Carolina in the 7th round in 2022, appeared in 2 games with Minnesota in 2022. He spent time on the practice squads with the Steelers and the Jets. What do you anticipate from an environment standpoint down there on Saturday? What did you get 3 weeks ago? Obviously, very different feel, but what was
Totally. No, I think you're going to get I really think you're going to get a good showing of Browns fans. I think it's going to be rocking, for as passionate as the Texans fans are going to be able to get. That's going to be rocking, but I expect a lot of Browns fans. I expect an awesome environment.
Is it a good? Does that place have them?
Is it
a good?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, you like it.
I
Yeah.
like it.
It looks huge on TV.
It's not. It's bigger. It is big. It's not cavernous though. It can be.
It's not.
It can
Okay,
get
it
loud
looks
in
that
there.
way. It's funny you use that word because that's the word I was going to use. That's what it looks like on TV. It looks enormous and cavernous on TV.
Like so,
but
so
it's
some of
not.
my friends who were there Monday,
right,
thought it was like rocking.
Okay. It's funny because it didn't look like that on TV. To me, on TV, it looked sterile on Monday night.
You could hear it a little bit.
But
yeah.
it just the look of it. I don't know what it is. It seems sterile to me.
I think the problem is the media level is so high up; it's above everything.
Oh my God, media! We're
like
in.
it
We're
is
in the
at
roof.
That's how
you're
Indy is,
closer
though,
to
too,
God
right?
than you are the
Yes.
football field.
Indy's that way too. Like all
Yeah.
the new stadiums are that way. They put you on the roof.
Yeah.
And I
'Cause
think
you can't sell you.
the other problem, like even TV, I know they're like 5 stories below us,
Oh,
but
okay.
they are still. It's away from the field.
like back.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
So from a sound standpoint, I feel like that could be why it felt that way.
Okay. I just every time that whether we play there or there's any game that I pay attention to down there, it just seems like a big cavernous place.
Yeah, normally if we're in a dome, we rarely need to even put up like the shotgun mics for crowd.
Yeah, right.
You're in a dome; it's going to pick it all up, and that's not usually the case there.
I would think that you talk to people down there and got buddies who do radio down there and have been down there for a while, and it does feel like that it's kind of been a slow burn for this team with Stroud, but they're getting there. And they had a lot of juice when Deshaun was there with Hopkins and Watt, and there was a lot of juice around the organization then. But then it's been a tough couple of years, and it almost feels like it's taken a little while to fall completely in love with what this team is. But it seems like they're there now,
Yeah, absolutely.
as they should be.
Absolutely. No, they. I expect I think it's going to be an awesome environment. Honestly, I'm pumped for it.
Yeah,
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I think we match up stylistically very well with them. And now it's going to be about, as you heard everybody keep saying, it's about executing. And when you execute properly in the playoff games, you win. But it's the stakes are high, and one mistake could be the difference between winning and losing. And so everybody's got to be, kind of at their very best to go down there and to get the victory and get the desired result.
that's the operation, and one of the ways to do that will be a matchup we've spent some time talking about already. It is the matchup of our defense versus the Texans' offense. We will get into that coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. I will get to the matchup just a second. You know, you and I have not. We hadn't had a chance to discuss this.
What is that?
Tiger no longer with Nike.
I know. Yes, I was watching a lot of the commercials yesterday because they were putting up some of the great Tiger Nike commercials.
How would you?
Unbelievable. I mean, he was synonymous with it. He launched their whole golf division. They had a
Launched the division.
irons,
clubs,
balls, all of it. Yeah, because of him.
When it's hard to explain for the kids out there because they're used to everything on demand whenever they want it.
Yep.
But you would look forward to that commercial dropping Masters season. Like it would usually drop during March Madness.
Oh, yeah.
Is when it would drop at the start of the golf season for most of us who live, in inclement weather. And it would drop then, and every one of them was great. They were all spectacular. The one with the wedge and every single one of them where he has the crowd split and all of it. There was one after another that was all great. And I got a buddy of mine who's a great player who still plays he still has the Victory irons, the Nike.
What?
Yeah, he still plays him. He says I hit him better than everything. He's like a 2, and he still plays him. Loves
That's
him.
amazing.
Yeah, loves him. But yeah, it was wild. And launched the whole division. I assume they're just out of golf, right? Like,
yes,
what would be
and
the
they
point?
have been the clubs and balls.
I knew that, but it seems like
long
it must
ago.
be out on gear now too. Just done with it. Like it's just going to be polos and hats, but it's not going to be a golf division. Probably.
I think they'll still make shoes and gloves.
Yeah.
And towels and bags because I have them. So I think they'll still have golf stuff, but it's going to be much more Jordan focused. Their golf division is basically Jordan right now. Anyway,
yeah, I mean
they're all Jordan shoes. They're Jordan. The bag that I just got is a Jordan bag.
Yeah,
it's Jordan golf more than Nike.
More than Nike golf. So they switch away from it. Rory still has it, and is Brooks?
I don't know.
They were both.
Brooks
Nike
always
guys.
was just like a swoosh guy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
Kepka,
Nike.
Yeah.
But they would do it, but there wasn't much else. But yeah, that's a big change.
Huge.
Yeah.
Where do you think he goes?
The Nike Mojo golf ball. Total sidebar.
Yeah.
Arguably my favorite golf ball to play with.
Well, that's
unbelievable.
That's an amazing statement. It has a warm. I always got excited when I found one because Mojo is from Permian High School, Friday Night Lights fame. They call it they're Panthers, but they call it's Mojo is what they call it. That's what they chant. So every time I would see one of those, I'd be jacked up to see a Mojo, and you'd see them every once in a while. I haven't seen one in a while. It's been a minute since I've seen one.
That's like the equivalent of somebody who's our age, but like at 10, 20 years ago, being like, that Top Flight XL, man. That's my favorite ball.
That's the sweet spot. Wilson Staff.
Who remembers the Top Flight Magna?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where the ball was bigger.
Yeah. My favorite thing is when
the ball's bigger.
When you see somebody with my type of game who's like, yeah, I got to get some Pro V1s. Dude, ain't helping you.
That's what.
Don't worry about it.
I
Get
don't
Mojo.
need to go.
Not your
I
problem.
don't need to go buy those.
You don't need
you need
It's not doing
Mojos.
you any good.
Just give me a box
They're
of
not
Mojos.
for you.
You need the Mojos.
They're not for you. Jack tried doing that one time. He tried doing a ball for a handicap. And he tried about 1 million attempts at club. He tried clubs and balls and all sorts of stuff. And one year at the Memorial Media Day, he was handing out, it was color-coded for handicap. And the idea was that this ball would be better for you.
Right,
and,
either
and that's the idea.
more spin, less spin.
And there's another one who did it. Was it Bridgestone who tried that too, who tried like a different ball for the handicap? I think Bridgestone tried that too.
Yeah.
But look.
Well, it's not necessarily for the handicap. It's more what he was doing was correlating your handicap with your swing speed. And so there are different balls for different swing speeds and different
people don't realize that
level of what. Right. The Pro V1 or Pro V1X. And the titles now they have the AVX, which is another one of that elite level. Like those are for people who know what they want to do with the golf ball and hit it consistently in a certain way. And now you're worried about, do I want it to be a lower launch angle, a higher launch angle? Do I want more spin around the green, or do I want it to be just a low spin ball so that it is going to go longer?
Yeah.
So just when you're not that great, just go out there and get rocks and pound them.
Pound them, baby.
Yeah.
That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's pound this matchup. It's presented by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. We're talking about the Browns defense versus the Texans offense. And for some details on that, we head to Dr. Z.
All right. This is a team that you are familiar with. They are familiar with you. However, in this particular matchup, things are going to look different than they did the first time. And so why? C.J. Stroud. Simple answer. C.J. Stroud this year, 9-6 as a starter, 64% completions, 4,108 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a 100.8 rating. He was sacked 38 times in 15 games, so about 2.5 a game. 167 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. I would have thought he had more than that, to be honest with you. 6 300-yard games this year, 4-2 in those games where he was over 300, and he was a Pro Bowl alternate and probably will be the Rookie of the Year.
I would think, as good as Nakua has been,
Now, Nakua did.
He did, but
set a
quarterback
record.
versus receiver.
I would agree.
I would think that's.
I think he will be the rookie.
Yeah.
I think he will be the Rookie of the Year. So they will get under center. They're not afraid to do that. Now, they let him operate, obviously, in the shotgun quite a bit, but they're actually 5th most under center in the NFL, 38.5%. And so that's where they set up some of those play action shot plays, similar to what we do. Remember, the offensive coordinator down there, Bobby Slowick, came from Kyle Shanahan. Kubiak. That's where Kevin Stefanski, Gary Kubiak. So you're going to see that kind of stuff. They play a fullback 27.3% of the time. That is as much as anybody in the NFL. So you're going to see those types of things. C.J. Stroud is excellent, though. The guy is a very, very, very good quarterback. When he throws the ball, he's throwing it right now basically to 2 people. Nico Collins, who had a career high 80 catches, 1,297 yards, averaged 16.2 yards per catch, 8 touchdowns, 5 100-yard games. By the way, his touchdowns, all of them, with the exception of 1, came at home this year. So he likes that home cooking. Then they throw it to the tight end, Dalton Schultz, 59 catches, 635 yards, 5 touchdowns, all second on the team. They have Noah Brown, but he's been out with a back injury. I don't know that he's going to be available, has not practiced. He's averaging 17.2 yards a catch, career high 567 yards, 2 touchdowns. The aged Robert Woods, 40 catches, 426 yards, and a touchdown this season. John Mechie, their second-round pick a year ago, 16 catches, 158 yards, no touchdowns. And then they have their 6th-round rookie this year, Xavier Hutchinson, 8 catches for 90 yards. They'll use multiple tight ends quite a bit as well. They're not afraid to do that at various times, so Schultz will be out there with Brevin Jordan. But really, they get their fullback, Andrew Beck, in there. He's a Pro Bowl alternate. He caught a touchdown against us last time, 2 touchdowns on the season. They can run the football. Devin Singletary, career high, 898 yards, 4 touchdowns, 30 catches for 193. He had 3 100-yard games this year. Houston was undefeated in those 3 games. They basically eliminated Dameon Pierce from their run game, but he had the kick return touchdown against us last time. And then their line. They've got 3 guys that they thought were going to be starters that are on IR. So their right tackle and center guard are all on IR. So they've got Laramie Tunsil, the Pro Bowler, who's done a very good job against Myles Garrett historically. They've got Juice Scruggs, their second-round pick out of Penn State. He's given up 4 sacks in 7 games in just 6 starts. Their center is Michael Dieter, right guard Shaq Mason, and their right tackle will either be Charlie Heck or George Fant. So you've got 2 kind of veterans there, both of whom who have struggled. Heck's a big 6'8", 311-pounder. Whoever's at right tackle, though, that's where Zadarius Smith feasted last time. 2 sacks, quarterback hit, 4 quarterback hits. His pressure led to Deron Harmon's interception when he hit the quarterback. Had another sack wiped away on penalty. It was his best game of the year. So that's what you're hoping for from Zadarius. But I like our ability to generate pressure, and on the back end, we can cover. We got MJ, we got Denzel, we got Greg Newsome. I think Thornhill will be available too, so you have Thornhill, Hickman, Harmon, and Bell at safety. I like where we're at. J.O.K., Taki, Tony Fields when we go big will be that third linebacker. You got Obo back. You got Alex Wright, who has a sack in 4 straight games. This team is starting to play. So I like our matchup defensively. Again, the only thing that we need to do better is the red zone and the goal line. We are the worst red zone defense in the NFL. We were the worst goal-to-go defense in the NFL. Number 1 on 3rd down, number 1 on 4th down, number 1 in passing yards, number 1 in total yards. We had the 3rd most interceptions in the NFL. Number 1, we allowed just 14.9 first downs per game. But that is such an anomaly in scoring situations.
Yeah.
Teams have had 24 first and goal situations against us. They've scored touchdowns 22 times. 92%. They've had 42 trips to the red zone. Fortunately, not many. We've given up 30 touchdowns, 71%. Again, worse than the NFL. But for comparison's sake, the Texans are 12th in the red zone, 52%, 19th goal to go, 73%. So, we are significantly worse, and that's really the only thing to clean up for this defense. But can you limit the big plays? Can you keep C.J. Stroud from putting the ball over your head to Nico Collins? And honestly, if you take out Nico Collins, I don't see what else they're going to do.
There's not a whole lot there outside of that. There's nothing really to fear.
No. And I would say if you look at, for C.J. Stroud, when he's played what you would call the good pass defenses in the National Football League,
Yeah, I've got the game log up right here. I mean, most recently the Jets in early December. It was a real struggle.
They had 54 yards passing in that when he got knocked out of that game. The Carolina Panthers were considered to be a very good pass defense this season, had 119 yards in that one, net passing after the sacks.
Yeah.
The Saints game, they had 177 net passing. So when he's played the Ravens, 196. When he's played, now that was early in the year, when he's played good pass defenses, it has not been as prolific as you might think. And I think for the Browns, that formula, they're going to watch a lot of what the Jets did in that game, and the Browns can play a lot of that similar style defense on the back end. That's where I think that you're hoping you can have your best games in those ones, because
he's 10 of 23 in that game against the Jets. That's by far his worst game. He had a 3-interception game against Arizona, but it was also 73% completion percentage in the game against Arizona. That's his only multiple turnover game.
Carolina, 140, no touchdowns. New Orleans, 48% completions, 199. Now 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Yeah, that was really the only time that he really has struggled is that game against the Jets.
The Jets is the worst by far. He's had some other ones that were uneven, but he at least was able to get something. It's the Jets. He got nothing going.
Yeah, 10 of 23.
He got whipped. I mean, that's a strange one. I don't remember that game.
That was in the Jets, and that was when you thought they had a chance to really lock things up, and then it got a little bit dicey coming out of that. So, no, good pass defenses have been successful against him, and that's the onus I think is going to be on the Browns to do that. You look at that Carolina game, 5.8 yards per attempt, New Orleans 7.1. And then the game against the Jets, which really stood out, was 3.9 yards per attempt. That's what you got to do.
This is how strange this league is. So the Jets, who were pretty hapless most of the year, they win 30-6 against Houston. You'd say, well, Breece Hall must have went nuts. 40 yards.
Yep.
10 carries, 40
That was
yards.
Zach Wilson's best game of his career.
Yeah, that was his career game. He went 27 of 36 for 301 and 2 touchdowns.
He's the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Now, that's where they have struggled when we do the other matchup. They have struggled to stop the pass this year. They have not been a great pass defense, and if you're the Browns, that's what you were able to do with them, 368. You got to take advantage of it. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's for all of the talk of this is kind of the one matchup, there's a lot to like about it, because the things that they do well, we have answers to.
Correct.
Defensively. The Jacksonville thing would have been a different one, and from the standpoint of there's just so many more things that scare you. There's so many more weapons that if it all were to click, that could have been problematic. Here, and I certainly not mean to diminish it. You respect everybody you play, but with only Collins healthy, in terms of a weapon, there's just not a lot there.
Correct.
And you feel like you're going to be able to get home.
Right.
Regardless if it's him. It was Keenum in the game the last time around, but you feel like you're going to be able to get home.
More. Yeah.
He will. He's definitely will, because he wants to hit those deep shots, and he's got a lot of courage in the pocket. One thing that he wasn't during his time at Ohio State until the Georgia game was someone who would look to create space and time with his feet. But he did that in the Georgia game in the national semifinals, his best game as a Buckeye for sure. And he may have to do a little bit of that in the game on Saturday. The other thing, about us, if you think about what this one means, and we're going to get into the all-pro stuff and all of that's coming, and we had Jim Schwartz talking off the top of the show. This is something that for a defense that's been building for this all season long, it's an opportunity to put one more kind of thing in the resume on the season. Like
Absolutely.
have a dominant defensive performance in the playoffs to be – and you're not going to be considered one of the great defenses of all time because of those red zone numbers that you mentioned. That's just strange anomaly that's the way that it played out. But to be one of the great defenses in Browns history and all of that, you need to stack that now in the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that its defense has done well is in our 4-game winning streak, they had 11 takeaways. Now, the crazy thing is, I'll say this, and people will be like, wait, what? In our 4-game winning streak, we had 11 giveaways as well. Not to mention we gave up a kick return touchdown and allowed an onside kick to be recovered. That's not sustainable.
There's no good reason for us to be 11 and 6.
We've turned the ball over. We've turned the ball over 2 or more times in 5 straight games, 3 or more in 3 of those, and 3 or more in take the last game out with our starters. We've turned it over 3 or more times in 4 of the last 6. We only had 1 game all year where we didn't turn over. That was Arizona. That was back November the 5th, week 9, in that 27-0 win. We have got to clean that up going forward. I mean, I know we've won. It's not sustainable to turn the ball over multiple times and hand a team. We gave the Bears 14 points. We gave the Texans 7 points. We gave the Jets 7 points.
Do you know offhand how many times we've won the turnover battle this year?
Bo, as a matter of fact, I do.
I figured you would.
All right, week 1, lost it. Week 2, lost it. Week 3, lost it. Week 4, lost it. Week 5, lost it. Week 6, we won it against the Colts. We had 4 takeaways to 2. We lost it in Week 7. We won it in Week 8. So we've won twice now.
Yeah, 2 and 6.
Then a tie, loss. Okay, we won against the Jags. They had 4, we had 3. Tie against the Bears 3-3. Tie against Texans 2-2. Lost it to the Jets. Lost to the Bengals.
So if my math is correct, I have it 3 wins, 3 ties, and 11 losses in the turnover battle. And that would get you to 17. 11 times we lost the turnover battle. 3 ties, 3 wins. And you're 11-6. And the 5 seed in the AFC postseason. Yeah. Let alone the catastrophic injury and everything else. Yeah. We didn't even play clean.
No, and that's
not close.
It's going to help the stats for Stefanski. But, I mean, when we won the turnover battle, we
3
win.
times.
Yeah, we beat the Colts.
No kidding. I bet we do.
We smoked the Cardinals, and we beat the Jags. Yeah.
How many times out of those 11? So you have 6 losses. How many times, did you lose? Are all of the 6 losses, did you also lose the turnover battle?
All right, we lost the Steelers, and we lost the turnover battle by 2.
Yep.
We lost the Ravens. We lost the turnover battle by 2. We lost to Seattle. We lost the turnover battle by 1.
Yep.
We lost to Denver. We lost the turnover battle by 2. We lost to the Rams. We lost the turnover battle by 1. And then we lost this Bengals game.
Which doesn't. Yeah.
And we lost turnover battle by 1.
So all 6 you lost it. How many of those games, this would be something for the MIT kids in the other rooms around here to sort out, but how many of those games not only did you lose a turnover battle, but it directly led to points for them that contributed to the win? My point is, my God, you're 11-6.
Steelers, they had 2. Hold on. Steelers, they had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Ravens, the first time they brought one back to the 10 and scored on the next play. So that's 2 of them. Seattle.
But Pittsburgh definitely would have been a win.
Seattle, I don't think we gave. Pittsburgh definitely would have been. Seattle would have been a win because we threw a pick in the red zone that took 3 points off the board.
Yeah.
At a minimum. Threw the pick at the end of the game. I don't remember what our third turnover was in that one. It's hard to keep track of.
Sure,
all
yeah,
these
there's
off
a
the
lot.
top of my head. The loss to Denver. The turnovers, I think, came late with P.J. Walker.
Right.
And then the loss to the Rams, that was an interception we were trying to get back into the game.
Yeah. So at least one was a direct, if you don't turn it over.
Were you or family stationed at Camp
100%.
Lejeune between
I was not.
I was not at Camp Lejeune either.
Thank goodness.
Thank God.
Yeah,
we hear a lot of bad stuff about
It
that.
doesn't
You don't
sound
want to
like-
be there.
Yeah.
I've been hearing about that for years.
Yeah.
You don't want to be around there. That's not a good place to be. We mentioned award. Good job out of you. Well, there's an award season coming up, and we have some all-pro stuff to discuss. We'll get into that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Congratulations to our 2023 Browns Fan of the Year, Kathy Erb. Kathy, retired elementary school PE teacher. Surprised her with a tour of our practice facility. She met Joe Batonio, Joe Thomas, Z, Yellowstone. Excited to send Kathy to the Super Bowl. She represents the Browns for a chance to be named the NFL's Ultimate Fan of the Year. Head to clevelandbrowns.com/fan of the year 2024 to learn more. I wonder what you get there if you win the Fan of the Year for the entire league.
Something pretty great, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
Feels like
potentially. We do have a practice report.
Here we go.
Not practicing today, Amari Cooper, but that's just precautionary. Dustin Hopkins and Cedric Tillman still in concussion protocol. But Juan Thornhill, Newsome, all go.
Kareem Hunt, all those guys are back. The Tillman one is an interesting one because he is the only receiver with that body on our roster, and he is used not only in the run game, he's used some in the pass protection game as well. Remember the big hit he had on Kyle Van Noy on that block. He had a nice block on one of the chunk plays that we had against the Jets. He was the one who gave a kind of a nice little block there. So he is very important, and even though it hasn't shown up necessarily in the receiving stats, he's been very important to what we do. And we don't really have anybody who kind of fits that physical bill with the trade of Donovan Peoples-Jones if he is unable to go. So I'm guessing you'd get David Bell. You'd probably get some Marquise Goodwin more in passing situations to run, but at least you got David Bell coming off of the best game of his career, 4 catches, 68 yards, 2 touchdowns versus Cincy last week. But Cedric Tillman, that's the one I'm worried about. Good news on Thornhill there. Amari, not worried about at all. I mean, I literally talked to him today.
I think he said that I'm good. I'm good. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here.
The NFLPA announced its second annual Players All-Pro team voted on by the players themselves. Now, I'm always interested in this, and I've talked to a couple of and I'm sure you guys have as well, former NFL players about how I'm like, well, when did you vote on this? And
Good question.
And they would be like, I don't know, somebody came in and they said, fill
Here's
this
a
out,
ballot.
and fill this out, here's a ballot, sort it out. Like, it's not top of mind. To do it in the middle of the season is silly because you're in your process. You're in your routine. You're not paying attention to what's going on around the league. You haven't had a chance to absorb it.
Not in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's just stupid to try to get something reasonable here. So with that being said, they want – and I do think this is a good idea to do an NFLPA All-Pro team, but it just needed to be after the season so you're in a better headspace to be able to do it. There's no reason to rush it now.
Sure.
Go ahead. You're going to point.
Well, I mean, and it's also they just voted for the Pro Bowl too. So
and they vote for the NFL 100 around this time too. So they do all of this.
They were doing
stuff.
that 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so they do all of this in the last couple of weeks. They're voting for all of this stuff, and you're like, good God, another one? Okay.
Yeah. So here's the issue. I think when the season ends, it's a scatter drill. Like those guys are gone, and they're not replying to anything. They're not doing anything. Like, I'll see you in April at the earliest. Like, they go off the grid.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know when the good time to do it would be. It's too bad you can't just, send it.
It doesn't need to be done by them, by players.
They want to do it.
Yeah, but
But do they?
Well, I think what they want to do it because it ties into contracts, and they want to say, hey, who knows players more than us? We play the game, we know. But then you see a list like this, and you're like, actually, a lot of this you're just voting for brands. I mean, they got the first-team All-Pro tight end is Travis Kelce. We love Travis Kelce. He's a great Clevelander, one of the most popular players in the league. But I don't think he's the first-team All-Pro tight end this year. He's not what he was.
No.
Now, I don't know emphatically who it would be. Like, is that Laporta? Who is the first-team All-Pro tight end? Who's the best tight end in football this year? And Kelce is obviously just a receiving primarily tight end threat, and he's one of the 5 best tight ends in the history of the game.
I think. Let's see. Kittle is considered maybe the most complete tight end. I don't know.
But from the year he had.
That's what
Kelce
get our internet.
Kelce definitely took a step back.
No doubt. I mean, completely.
But is he still the best? Was he still the best?
He still probably had 1,000 yards this year, didn't he? I can't load a simple website. So
1,020. Uno says.
All right. What did Kittle have?
That was Kittle.
Oh, then Kittle.
Then
Kittle, because Kittle's a blocker, and
Kelce was 984.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There.
Kittle.
Yeah.
Kittle's a 1.
Evan Ingram had 114 catches.
Yep.
I'm the go-between.
Yeah, he sent out.
We're playing
a Jags
telephone.
franchise record.
Yeah. So, and again, Travis is great, but that's the one that jumped out to me because he just wasn't what he had been, and there were end zone drops and all sorts of things that happened with him. So their quarterback is Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Is the All-Pro quarterback.
I have not looked at this.
Right,
so
I
give
got
me
it
a
up. I have it
position.
up.
Give me
I
a
got it up.
position, and then
All right, we'll do
I'll
offense
give
first.
I'll give my All-Pro team.
Now you do have the knowledge of me saying that this is that in my view this is very like let's play the hits.
Okay.
So you do know that. All right.
Okay.
Quarterback. Lamar, we gave you.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep. Running back. They only had one.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yep. Fullback. Why do a fullback?
Kyle Juszczyk.
Like how many teams play with it's Juszczyk, but like how many teams
Is that
do
the
it?
only fullback in the league?
It's like and then the Texans.
Andrew Beck.
The guy from the Ravens.
2 or 3 fullbacks
Patrick
in the whole
Ricard.
league.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juszczyk. Okay.
Who was that the last name of Will Ferrell's character and was his last name Frank Ricard? In Old School? I think it is. Frank Ricard. I think that's what it is.
Is it really?
I think it might be because I think he.
I feel like in Naked Gun there's somebody named Ricard.
Well, that I think too, but I think in
and then in Star Trek,
I think I remember in
Jean-Luc Picard.
Picard, yeah. Get Uno on that. If Will Ferrell's character in Old School's Picard, Frank Picard, Ricard.
Chris says it is.
It is? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Love it.
I remember him saying that. Frank Ricard. Wide receiver. There are 2.
Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Could be Puka. Could be Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think is very good. I'm going to say A.J. Brown.
C.D. Lamb.
That's a good one.
And it's the right one,
Yep.
I think.
C.D.
Tight end Kelsey, we went over. Left tackle,
Tunsil.
Trent Williams.
Okay.
Left guard,
Joel Bitonio.
there was a tie. Joel Bitonio and Tyler Smith
Okay.
were there. Center.
Kelsey.
Yeah, you knew that. Right guard.
Zach Martin.
Yep, right tackle.
DeJuan Jones.
Lane Johnson. DeJuan Jones was first team all-rookie on that team that
Yeah.
I went over earlier.
Okay.
Edge rusher. There are 2.
Do they do this right? This is properly categorized?
Yeah.
Okay. Myles Garrett.
Yep.
TJ Watt.
Myles Garrett and Max Crosby.
Wow. Players love Mad Max.
They do. Nose tackle. So they went with an odd five
defensive
linemen.
Okay.
Yeah.
A true nose tackle?
I guess.
It says interior D-line.
Well, no, there's nose tackle first, and then interior D-line.
Well, see, I'm looking at pictures. I don't know.
Dexter Lawrence.
I'm going to have that. From the Giants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interior D-line, 2 of them.
Aaron Donald.
Yep.
Brand name.
Was Donald good this year? I
think
assume
so.
he was still
Yes.
very, very
yeah,
good.
I remember when
but
we played them, he was still good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald, and then Justin Matabike.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, that's fair.
Off-ball linebacker.
Did Justin Matabike get anything?
No. Off-ball linebacker, there are 2.
Roquan Smith.
Yep.
Fred Warner.
Got them both, yeah.
Okay.
They got Roquan Smith for a bucket of balls.
Yeah, they
Baltimore did. Cornerback, there are 2.
Sauce Gardner.
Nope.
Jalen Johnson.
No.
He deserves it. Oh, the guy, Deron Bland.
Deron Bland.
Okay, hold on. Deron Bland. And Surtain.
Yep.
And he was not good
Matt
this year.
Surtain. Right.
He's won everything. And
Yeah.
He was not good this year.
Not good
Yeah.
this year. People don't, but it
Yeah.
always takes like a year for people to realize it
catch
because you
on
just
to
don't
it.
pay
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
Free safety. Can I give you a hint?
Yeah.
New team this year. You know him very well.
Jesse Bates.
Yep. Strong safety. Guy that we lamented their picking of him.
Kyle Hamilton.
Yep. Kick returner. Who knows? Kayshawn Nixon.
Okay.
Green Bay. Punt returner, Darius Davis with the Chargers. Core teamer, Jalen Reeves-Maben of Detroit.
Okay.
And Brendan Schooler of New England.
Okay.
So I guess Brendan Schooler can say I'm a first-team All-Pro, and T.J. Watt can't,
Yep.
according
Sad.
to the NFL players. Kicker is whom? Who's your kicker?
It should be Dustin Hopkins, but I think it's going to be Jason Myers.
It's Brandon Aubrey, Dallas.
This guy over here told me Jason Myers was the kicker. How did Jason Myers get? Brandon Aubrey didn't miss a kick until the last week. That makes sense. Jason Myers. How do you get that wrong?
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know.
Was that
No,
a
no,
setup
no,
you
no,
thought
no.
in this
I don't know
moment I was
where-
going to say Jason Myers?
Hold on.
I'm looking.
Like, was this some dastardly plan? That was the big payoff you got out of it?
I don't know.
I did not mean to. At no point was I trying to make you look bad.
Well, it wouldn't have looked bad because it was a
something.
guess as far as they
It was
all
a guess
knew.
as far as they all knew,
Yeah.
but it was Brandon Aubrey.
That
Punter-
makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So it should be
Someone tweeted that.
Aubrey,
So it must have been
D-Hop,
true.
and Greg Zerline are the 3 people that have a
That
right
should
to
have been
be in
it.
this.
Yeah, yeah. This is from Pellicero under the tweet headline: The NFLPA announced its second annual Players All-Pro team, voted on by the players themselves, and that's what I'm reading off of.
Punter?
Punter. Yep.
I don't know.
AJ Cole. They even name it.
Hold on. Does he play for the Raiders?
He does. Good job at you.
Okay.
Very good job at you.
The Raiders guy was the best punter this year. I just didn't know
What his name was. Yeah. And then they actually picked a long snapper as well.
Charlie Hewlett.
Charlie Hewlett. Got it.
Really?
No. Ross Matisic.
He's on somebody that we
He's with the Jaguars.
Yeah, we played them. I was like, he was
You know
on
the
my-
name.
I know. Yeah, he was on my
Yeah.
boards.
So there you go. And then the AP you said was coming on Friday. Gibby?
Yeah, Friday at noon.
Here's the thing, and I always go through this with the college football stuff too, is people say that they want, the players will say, well, we want to have a vote on the All-Pro because we play and we know. But the reality is when they're tasked with doing so, it's cumbersome, it's labor-intensive, and you don't want to do the work. So most of them want to I'm just going to write down guys I know or who I think is good and who your friends are and all of
You're
this.
focusing on your
And
game.
You're
You don't have
focusing on
time
your
to
game. You're not doing it. Same thing is true. I say this all the time with like the college football when they used to have a coaches poll that mattered. And I would say, like, I remember talking to Bowden about this years ago and even Tressel. Like, when they would hand in their coaches poll, I'm like, what games do you watch this weekend, Coach? Ours.
Right.
And who we're playing next, and that's it. Like, that's what they did that weekend.
Yeah,
They didn't
that's
watch college
Right.
football.
Right.
Right? So the same thing is true here. Like, when the AP poll comes out, that will be people that cover the league.
Yeah.
Now, will there be some bias in that? Of
course.
Probably, because you don't like a guy or somebody
Sure.
treated you bad in an interview, and that sucks that that's part of it. But we can't yet have AI reporters across everything where there's no emotional connection one way or another. But in terms of having the league covered, that's the best way because you're watching a lot of it. You're watching your team. You're watching the other teams. You're watching the rest of the league. You would be somebody who would be very good to have vote on an all-pro team.
I would
Because
love to.
you should. That's something that you should be doing because you not only do you know our team front and back, you know all of our opponents front and back, you know our division front and back, you know what's happening around the league.
Yeah.
The PFF guys should be voting on this stuff.
Well, again, and my dad's giving me I got the rundown on the Niners.
You know the Niners. Hell,
Nerd.
give Pedro a vote
He
on
was
the
he
All-Pro.
texted me today, and he was so mad. He's like, we lost Cleveland Farrell. He's our starting defensive end. I'm like, isn't Chase Young and Nick Bosa, aren't those your starting defensive ends? Like, Chase Young doesn't play the run.
Chase Young doesn't play the run.
That's what he said.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Would he take it? How serious? If like somehow we got him an All-Pro vote, how seriously would he take it?
My dad?
Yeah,
Very.
I think so too. I think it would
Very.
completely locked in. Like
I think he
have
would
it-
actually even
he'd have
like
charts.
I think
he'd
he would do work for it.
I agree with you. I think he would. I think he would work very, very diligently to
Yeah,
make
give
sure
him
that
something
it was,
to do. He'd be pumped.
He'd be jacked up about it.
Yeah.
I'll work on that for you, Pedro.
No, get me. I'd rather get me the vote.
Maybe I get him a Heisman vote. Would he ever watch college football?
No.
No. Even for a Heisman vote?
I don't
No,
know.
probably not. Probably not.
That was never a thing in our house.
It really wasn't for mine either. That was something that came later in life for me.
Yeah.
Was
Well, 'cause
was
you
like in
worked
college
in
sport
it.
because I worked in it. But like, yeah, no, growing out west, growing up, like
Like if
college was
if your
periphery.
first job or your like introductory jobs to this business were not in Tallahassee and then as you progressed into Columbus and they were in Chicago
Oh
or
yeah,
or
for sure. It would have been NFL
All pro.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't even have had the experience of the college.
Right.
The only reason I had it is because I lived it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. And out there, like it just wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was always
Grizz.
the pro.
Yeah.
Finished second this year, the brothers' alma mater.
Love it.
Really stupid, by the way, for them. They did. ESPN ran the 1AA national championship game at 2:00 on Sunday,
What?
up against the last week of the NFL.
Who did they play?
It was Montana against South Dakota State. But like when you
South
won,
Dakota State.
yeah, South Dakota State won. They won the back-to-back Jackrabbits. They
Pierre Strong.
yeah. So I just thought, like, why would you not run that on a Friday or a Saturday? Like, why would you run it against the NFL? It's football.
Agreed.
Like, people watch football. We know
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's
Like,
that's
put
insane.
Don't. Why would you run it against the NFL?
How many of those titles have been won by either South Dakota State or North Dakota
South
State?
Dakota State has won the last two. North Dakota State won like 6 in a row.
It's crazy.
And then there was 2, and then they won 5. I mean,
Why
they won
South
like
Dakota
8.
State, North Dakota State? I don't get it.
They must have just thrown the money into it. I don't know.
I've got breaking news.
No, you don't.
Is
What
it
do you got?
good?
It does not involve us.
Okay.
From Adam Schefter 1 minute ago, and it's verified. It's him.
Okay.
A shocker in Seattle, Pete Carroll is expected to be out as Seahawks head coach. He still could remain in the organization, but not as the head coach.
What are they trying to line up for? Because if you listen to Amy Adams Strunk, who spoke yesterday after that is a shocker. Although Pete's 70.
He's old.
He's 73,
Yeah.
74. But I wonder what everybody's – is there somebody out there? As the Amy Adams Strunk comments on Vrabel, she was saying, like, people don't understand how hard it is to trade a coach. They have to agree to it. I'm like, I think everybody understands that. It's not like a player. You can't just trade him to anybody. I think everybody gets that. But the last line she said I thought was interesting. She said, I didn't want to wait 3 weeks and miss out on who we really wanted. So, like, who are they lining up for?
It feels like that's got to be Harbaugh.
Guess. Who, by the way,
Or
would crawl
Belichick.
bare-chested under barbed wire
To any
to
of them.
Nashville, Vegas, or L.A. 3 years ago, and nobody would have let him.
Is somebody convinced that Ben Johnson, but you can't even interview Ben Johnson with the new rules until as long as he's going, right?
Yeah.
Till like January 22nd or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's some big names. Pete Carroll's a big name. Vrabel's a big name.
I don't know what's going to happen with Belichick.
It feels like he's going to be out, right? But
Seems like
every day that goes by that he isn't out, maybe he's not out.
Yeah. Yeah, Pete Carroll's older than you think.
72.
Yeah. I knew he was getting into there.
He doesn't move well for, like, he's
You-
running up and down
to
the side
me,
chewing gum. It's like,
To me, he's permanently like 58.
he's an old 58, brother.
Well, I haven't seen him in person,
Dude,
but just
we're close to 58, you and I.
not that. Let's not get into all that right now.
We're closer to 58
Don't get
than
into
he
it
is.
right now. I understand that, but we don't have to talk about it out loud. Let's talk about it out
What are you
loud.
doing?
What's wrong? What?
He wants us all to have our mortality even
No,
quicker.
I feel young. I've never been younger.
Udo loved it.
Like
Love that. Like that a lot.
These
We'll
two-
attempt. That is big. That's
These two
news.
are like 22.
It's.
By the way,
monster-
hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uno, we need you on camera.
Oh, God. I'm getting out of the way.
What do you got, Uno?
Look at him.
Oh my God, he's slicked up.
Look at him.
He's all
How
slicked
did I
up.
just notice that just this net? I was like,
Well,
wait,
we saw him
what?
walking by, but there's a little glare,
Yeah.
so I couldn't tell. The beard is gone. He's
He
all
looks so
slicked up.
youthful. Mose
Great.
Schrute, no more.
No more Mo Schrute. Yeah, you
Yeah,
look
I
great.
can't handle it when it's all the way out there like that.
I think it looked great.
I
Look
think
good
it
now.
looks much-
You look good now.
Yeah,
I
you
like
look
this.
great.
This is a good look on
this
you.
is people have been telling me recently that this is the best look that I have, so I've been trying to stick to it.
What a
Yeah.
compliment, because that's just you exposed to the world.
It's just you in the nude. I love it. You look great.
Thank you.
You look great. We'll guess the spread for Super Wild Card Weekend coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Team Individual Lawyers dedicated to every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. That is stunning news. First time in 14 years, if you're just joining us. Pete Carroll is out in Seattle as the head coach of the Seahawks. Mike Vrabel out in Tennessee. Both of those, I would say, are shocking. The one thing I will say, maybe if you're out there in this, Seattle is so remote that I think it doesn't get like the normal coverage.
I do think they feel like this year was a disappointment.
Yeah. But
They
last
did not
year,
go to the
last year was
playoffs.
such a above that.
Yeah. I'll give them credit.
They lost to Pittsburgh, and that was it, though, because they lost them 2 weeks ago, and that was kind of the one that sealed the deal.
And changed
for
everything.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wonder
to their
if
credit, though, they competed to the end of that game. They found out in the middle of that game they were not going to the playoffs, and they rallied and beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They moved on from
Not
Russell
too
Wilson
much from
just
the
fine.
scores.
That's right. Yeah, they did.
I mean, that's.
I mean, like he that was a surprise hire when he left USC, and then he went there and built a dominant D, and built one of the better, more respectable operations in football.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a hell of a
Hell of
run.
a run, yeah.
He had 2 NFL jobs before he went to SC. It was shocking when he got the SC job because he was a coach of the Jets and the Patriots.
Yep.
Failed miserably at both.
Yep.
Was incredible at SC. And then, I mean, his back half career is unbelievable.
Yeah.
USC
Leinart,
and
Reggie
Seattle.
Bush, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Won 2 national titles, 2 Heismans. It's a heck of a run.
Did they get those, though? Didn't they, weren't they?
What are we doing?
Forfeited.
Weren't they in dispute?
Good Lord.
It's ridiculous.
It's the
Happened
stupidest
on the
thing ever.
field.
We all watched it.
Watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never. It's so funny, the NCAA's unwillingness to just do what got them into so much trouble and what gets them to where they are now is they've chased money. When I say NCAA, I mean university presidents, because that's really what makes it up. The universities have chased money relentlessly for 25 years, and yet the straightest path for punitive damage for anybody in wrongdoing, they will stay away from the money always. They always want to take things from you. Banners and trophies, and let's punish a team even though the kids or the players or the coaches who did it aren't even there. Let's punish them. Why don't you just fine them?
Fine them.
Why don't you just fine
Sure.
them? That would do it.
It'd be great.
Bozos.
If they don't want it, send me the fines.
Yeah. All right, you ready? Little
Yeah,
super
it's
wild
tough.
card.
Yeah, we got
Guess the
6
spreads.
games.
Yeah, 6 games.
Let's do it. All right, got to go 4-2. It's tough. It's a tough win. 4-2.
I think you're going to be all over this. I think you're. I think there's a chance for a 6-0. To be quite honest.
All right.
All right, let's start with our game.
That was a hint, by the way. Go ahead.
Start with our game. 4:30 NBC NRG Stadium in Houston. Browns at Texans.
Browns minus 2.5.
Got it exactly. I do think it gets to 3 because it started at 1.5 on Sunday. I bet it gets to 3 by.
I like that.
Yeah, I bet it gets to 3.
Keep moving in that direction.
Yep. 8 o'clock. Here's your warning. Peacock only. I think from a box office standpoint, it is the second biggest game of the weekend. It's going to be on a streaming service only. It is the Dolphins and Chiefs at. I had no idea this is GEHA Field.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just Arrowhead.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a while.
What's Jihad?
It's like
Credit union.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, and this is no disrespect to them. I've never heard anybody call it that, including people who call that. They just call it Arrowhead.
It's Arrowhead. Is it Arrowhead Field?
It's Arrowhead Stadium. It's Jihad Field at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah, that's what
Nobody's calling it. Welcome to Jihad Field. We're at Arrowhead.
Right.
No, you have to spell. You have to go GEHA.
GEHA.
You can't say it that way.
No.
You got to say GEHA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad job.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a bad job.
Oh yeah. No. In all the materials.
No, I know that's what you're trying to do, but it's not working.
Yeah.
Chiefs
Yep.
minus 3.5.
Got it.
By the way,
Chiefs.
this weather is supposed to be stupid in that stadium on Saturday
It's
night.
supposed to be the coldest game. Did I see something?
7 degrees at kick.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Remember when Tom Coughlin's face turned into wax and almost froze off his face
I do
against
remember
Green Bay?
I do remember that. Kansas City minus 4.
Oh, good thing I went 3.5.
So you were right on it.
Well, that
By the
wasn't
way,
that could have been a
You got
dangerous
it.
one. I know I got it.
You
But I'm saying
nailed it.
that 4 is that's a
That's a
Vegas,
tricky one. You don't
yeah.
see that. By the way, both our game and that game, which one? Well, the way I'm phrasing that, there's no way not to lead you. The over-under for the 2 games in terms of total points scored, our game and that game.
Our game is going to be higher in the dome because of the elements, but I think we're at 44.
They're both 44.5.
Okay.
So a trick question, but they're both 44.5. Which, if you didn't understand all the circumstances around it,
Would have been
you would
absurd.
said you're nuts.
Yes.
All right.
Although with we did last time there go 58.
Yeah,
without C.J. Stroud.
that's true. Yeah. All right, on to Sunday. Steelers at Bills, 1 o'clock CBS. This is your Nance Romo game.
Bills minus 10.
Nailed it exactly. That's exactly right.
That one I felt very confident.
Very
about.
confident in that one, yeah. All right, we are now in the 4:30 window. This is your Fox
We're 3-0,
game.
baby.
I know. I predicted you'd go 6-0. Green Bay at Dallas. Green Bay at Dallas. Green Bay at Dallas.
Dallas minus 6.5.
Missed it. Dallas minus 7.5.
Jinxed him by telling him he was going undefeated.
Well, it's the Dallas bump too.
It is the bump,
It's a
but I thought
Dallas
6.5 was. I thought I was getting up there high enough.
I don't mind that one.
I should have just gone 7.
Yeah, and you nailed it. By the way, the smallest over/under for the weekend is Steelers Bills. It's 36.5.
I think the weather is supposed to be a factor
that
there.
I would have
brutal
thought
there,
it might
too?
be Philly Tampa.
Yeah, the AccuWeather on Steelers Bills is 24 degrees and looks like snow. You did Packers Cowboys.
Yep.
All right, so now we're on to Sunday Night Football, NBC.
As long as we take care of our business Saturday night, Sunday's going to be kind of a fun day.
It's a fun day. Could be a fun day. Yeah. Tarico's going to do both. He's going to do the game in Kansas City. He's going to sleep at 0, and then he's going to go to Detroit, although he lives in the Detroit area.
Correct.
He lives
Yes.
in the Ann Arbor
Yes.
up there, so I guess he's going home, so that probably helps. So it's Rams at Lions in the Stafford Returns Bowl. The Lions are saying, don't wear your Stafford jerseys. Kelly Stafford saying, why? We love you. Can't you see that we still
Not
love you?
tonight, they're at.
Not now.
Not today.
Not tonight.
It was all fun and games until we had to play in the
Lions
playoffs.
minus 3.5.
Lions minus 3.
Okay,
So you got it. You
All
got
right,
it.
4-1. Winning
That
week.
that one, I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow. That one has the feels of Lions need to get a good start.
I like the Lions in that game.
I do too, but like if somehow it's 10-zip Rams, I could see a lot of tightening
For Goff?
for the Lions.
Yeah.
Nervy building, big time
Sure,
nervy
sure,
building.
sure,
Like
sure.
that's
Sure.
not great. Monday night. All right, you're 5-1 or 4-1. Monday night. By the way, the over/under on Rams and Lions was 51.5. Packers Cowboys was 50.5. So we are in Monday night now. It is Eagles at Buccaneers on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Plus. The temperature in that one, by the way, 65.
Eagles
Very
at
pleasant.
Bucks. I know that I said 5.5. Uno jumped in, which I feel like because he's been trained by Gibbe can only mean he was jumping in to tell me that I was wrong. So I'm going to say
Because he's been trained by Gibby.
Eagles minus 3.5.
Eagles minus 3.
All right, 5-1. Dang it.
Yep.
Sorry, I let
I
you
thought
down.
you had a chance.
let you
43.5 is the over/under on that one.
Let
So
you
there you
down.
go. Good weekend. A lot of fun games out there. Are you and your pup ready for the game this weekend? Stop into Pet Supplies Plus, Fairview Park, this Thursday. That's tomorrow, 2 to 3, to join the Pup Rally. Wear your best Browns gear for a chance to win prizes. Get your pup's picture with Chomps. Even have a chance to meet Browns legend Josh Cribbs. For more information, visit the Browns Facebook events page. Pet Supplies Plus, a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll do the matchup on the other side of things coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Be sure to check out the Browns social media channels daily to play the Browns digital scratch-off game for your chance to win club seats and other great prizes presented by the Ohio Lottery, the official lottery of your Cleveland Browns. Now let's head to the podium. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt.
Do you expect to see something?
You're down.
I'm sure the Texans won't change drastically, but considering the game that Amari had against them a couple of weeks ago, do you think they'll see a lot different look from them?
It's hard to say, but I would expect so with the success that he had during that game, that they would have to try something a little bit different. But who knows? That's a defense that believes in who they are and what they do. So we'll see. But we're ready to adjust, and we're ready for anything that shows up Saturday. Excuse me.
How tough is it to be on either side of the ball? If you've done something all year long, are you major mad then to try to change something just for a playoff game or a specific matchup?
Yeah, it's always hard. I mean, you are who you are to your core. You have your core beliefs in your system, and you hang your hat on those. So we'll see.
Alex, they had so many key defensive guys for them out last game, so how much of an impact is that, like knowing you're going to have to see like Anderson, a Grenard more this time around?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those are great players for him. We didn't see Grenard last time. He left early in that game. But we know what he brings. His productivity has been outstanding this year. Anderson's an extremely talented pass rusher as well. Their strength is up front in their D-line, we feel, and that's a good challenge. So we hope they're healthy. We hope we get them at their best.
What's going on at the backup quarterback position? Is there an audition still continuing?
No, not as right now. Jeff is our backup moving forward. Thought he did a good job last week, put in a tough spot, come in and just go after a week of being around. It wasn't always perfect, but he did some really good things.
And I know Elijah Moore got on the field in Cincinnati a little bit, but how's he look? Is he look back to normal?
Yeah, he looks good. He looks really good. I thought yesterday, even in a walkthrough, he's twitchy and he's coming out of breaks, and we had to slow him down a little bit. So excited to see a healthy Elijah out there.
Elijah went through a lot of the season, not struggling, but just not producing. Did you guys have to talk at any time, or did you just feel confident that when the right time came, that he would still be able to help?
Oh, he'll definitely help us. He has all year. Doesn't always get a ton of throws throughout the course of a game, but he's definitely on the guys that we try to get the ball to. There's no doubt about that. So that's just the way it's going. He's going to make big plays for us, all the way through. He's been a true professional all the way through. He works as hard as anybody, in the classroom and on the field, so he's deserving for sure.
How much has Joe Flacco's ability to throw downfield allowed you to adjust your game planning to take advantage of that?
Oh, yeah, well, we'll try to push it at all three levels of the field. There's no question. We're going to make him defend the whole field, and, his ability to throw accurately down the field helps us in that regard.
There's some guys that are approaching this as going 1-0, and there's some guys that have talked about feeling the weight of this game and it being the playoffs, especially ones that haven't been there before. For you as a coach, how do you value the different kinds of approaches to this week, and how much do those mix in as they're talking to each other?
Yeah, the biggest thing in these games is, don't do anything that you haven't done all year. For these guys, just a little bit more time. Like the importance is there, yes. Is it the most important game of the year? Yes, it is. Because for us, it's our next game, and that's our motto going in. So we're just going to heighten our awareness and laser focus and really focus in on the little things of the game plan, and that'll just allow us to go out and play free and fast. The last thing we want is a tight group out there on Saturday. So just being who we are, I think, is important. It's been good enough to get us where we are right now, and I'd hate for guys to feel like they need to change and do more or less than they have at this point. So that's going to be the message, going through the week, is trusting the process, really emphasizing the preparation, so you have freedom to go play loose on Saturday.
Alex, you've been with Kevin from the start here. How has he evolved as a coach in your mind?
He's awesome. I've enjoyed every second with him. His ability to adjust and adapt with a coolness that is just, it's just a consistency that he brings every day. He's coached a lot of football, different schemes. His ability to change on a dime based on who this player, his starter, is at quarterback, I thought it's been really remarkable. But the message, the culture he's built here over the last 4 years, I'm really proud to be on his staff.
How do you guys reconcile your giveaways, and it hasn't affected the success of the season? Is this just a weird, you got a whole analytics crew that is studying this. What's the explanation?
not looking into it that deep right now, Tony. Just try not to turn the ball over. The more I talk about it, the more I start sweating. So we'll just stop there.
Talk about Joe giving you confidence and how he's Joe cool out there. Just what's his impact in behind the scenes, because he's been there, he's won. This is nothing new to him. Just what's that like been behind the scenes as far as the calming influence and also on the sidelines in games?
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, that's who he is. That's the strength. One of his strengths that he brings to us is his ability to, talk to guys on the field, off the field, after practice reps, after meetings. His ability to communicate, make sure everybody's on the same page. Those are the types of things that veteran quarterbacks do behind the scenes. But he's been doing that since he got here.
Sorry, how about your uncertainty at the receiver position? A little bit was said, and maybe Marquise, and how do you feel just about heading in?
Hopefully we get some guys back, regardless of who's out there. Feel confident about who's out there. Mary Kay, David Bell last week, all he does is catch 2 touchdown passes, does his job every time. Feel very comfortable if he's out there. He'll do a great job for us. Elijah coming back, Amari with a week's rest, feeling better. I'm excited about that group.
When you guys got here in 2020, focus was obviously on sort of just changing the culture and establishing a winning culture and all that. And you make the playoffs that first year, you go 2 years without it. Just how much more does it feel like that culture change and the message has just kind of gotten through to get you to the point now where you're making it the second time in 4 years?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of who we are in this building. That locker room is a really, really tight, connected locker room. The great teams that I've been fortunate enough to be around or on, that's the same feeling I get from this group. They love to play for each other. They really love to play for the man to the right and the left of them. That's all that matters, the trust that they have in each other. That culture has been built here now for 4 years. You can feel it this year. To talk about David Njoku, I think I read one of his articles where he said, as soon as I put the team in front of me, I became a better player. And I see that through a lot of players on this team. And I love the way that these guys fight.
You're up.
All right, time for the matchup presented by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. The Browns offense versus the Texans defense. And for more on that, we go to Dr. Z.
All right, Texans, same team basically that we faced, defensively a few weeks ago. Now, they will have some people back. It sounds like Blake Cashman, he played last week, so he will be back. He's having a career year. He leads the team with 106 tackles. He is back as the linebacker, but their pass rushers are still banged up. Grenard did not practice for both days so far this week. Will Anderson Jr., DNP for both days this week. Jerry Hughes, DNP both days this week. And those three have combined for 22.5 sacks. That's a lot. That's half of the sack production of the entire team this season. So that's a big deal. They play a ton of zone and rely on getting home with 4 guys. That's what they like to do. They don't really blitz. They blitz just 21% of the time. That's 29th. They play zone 81% of the time, 5th most in the league. They do a quarters or a cover 2 concept, split safeties at the top, 51.8% of the time, 4th most in the NFL. So they play that shell. It's designed to limit some of the big plays. The Browns have great quarters beaters, and we've seen them use those all year long. They can get to the quarterback, though. They have the 4th best pressure rate in the league, but without Grenard, Anderson, and Hughes, boy, that certainly would change things for them. Good linebackers, Cashman, Christian Harris over 100 tackles, career year in his second year out of Alabama. Good corners, Derek Stingley and Steven Nelson on the outside. Desmond King is the nickel. And then their safeties, Jalen Petrie and DeAndre Houston Carson, and then Kareem Jackson, who was suspended earlier this year for violent hits. He's back. They, as we talked about, good against the run. Number 6 run defense, 3.5 yards carry, though Indianapolis did gash them a little bit last week. They're the number 11 scoring defense. They are 13th with 46 sacks. They have 23rd, though, against the pass. They are 14th overall in defense. They have generated 14 picks. That's right in the middle of the league. Turnover margin, they are plus 10 on the year, tied for 5th. Think about that. They're plus 10. The Browns, turnover margin, minus 9, which is just wild. I mean, it really is. And we have 28 takeaways. We have 28 takeaways.
It's impossible.
We have 37 giveaways.
Where we are with that stat.
It's wild. Third down defense, they are the number 5 third down defense in the league. They are number 24 on third downs. They are 12th in the red zone, 19th goal to go, and they give up 20 first downs a game, which is 19th in the league. So solid defense. They play that shell. It's going to look very similar to what the Jets do, very similar to what we did last year. 4 rushers, 7 in coverage, cover 4, cover 3, some cover 2. And it's going to be on, Joe Flacco. He's very good at recognizing those things, taking shots if they do play man, which they don't very often, but if they do, I like our chances there. My guess is that they are going to be similar to what we do in the sense that they're going to say, okay, Amari Cooper went for 265 yards against us. He's not doing that again. They're going to come out with a game plan to stop him. So this needs to be a big Elijah Moore game, needs to be a big David Njoku game. And if they are putting, safeties over the top, we got to be able to run the football. And that's something we were not able to do in that first meeting. Jerome Ford, 15 carries for 25 yards. Kareem, 7 carries for 11 yards. So those two, 22 carries, 36 yards. No, it's got to be better than that in this one. But good defensive tackles. Malik Collins got 5 sacks. Sheldon Rankins has 6 sacks. So they got, like I said, they can get to the quarterback. But if they're without Grenard and Hughes and Anderson, that feels like that's big. That's a significant downgrade on their edge position, and we won't know that obviously for a few more. Well, till tomorrow, I think we'll have a pretty good idea of where they stand.
And Grenard hasn't played since our game.
And
Anderson played.
He didn't play against us the first time. He's played the last 2 weeks.
Right.
But he obviously re-aggravated that ankle last week.
Yeah, both ankles, right? Both guys are ankle issues on that side of things. And yeah, you're not going to get 265 out of Coop. Like that's not going to happen. Like that type of thing. So
no, you're right. So Wild. Here's the thing. Cooper's 265 yards, the 4th most in NFL history by a player versus a team who he later faced in the playoffs. John Taylor, 1989, went for 286 against the Rams in the regular season. They held him to 45 in the playoffs. Tyreek Hill in 2020 against the Bucs went for 269 in the playoffs, the Super Bowl. They held him to 73. Jamar Chase against the 2021 against the Chiefs. They held him to he was 266 in the regular season. They held him to 54. Now, the good news is all 3 of those teams won.
Yeah.
Or the Buccaneers would have beat the Chiefs, right? Super Bowl, Buccaneers beat the Chiefs.
Yes. Yeah, they got him.
All right, so 2 out of 3. So Taylor won, Jamar Chase won because that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. That was the AFC Championship game, and then Amari Cooper. Let's go.
The other thing we're waiting on, obviously, offensively, is Cedric Tillman. You mentioned how critical he is in the run game, and his frame is 1 of 1 after the trade of Donovan Peoples-Jones. So if that doesn't trend right, how do you combat that if you're Kevin Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt?
Maybe you do some things where you put a tight end in some of those spots would be my guess.
Yeah.
But that would be, in some ways, a fairly significant loss just because of, that's more of a tell, right, of what you're going to do. Now, Akins hasn't really been featured that much. I think this could be a good game for him. I like him. I like his ability to make plays, and coming back to Houston where he had basically 500 yards and 5 touchdowns a year ago. That I wonder if that's going to be it, or if they're going to put David Bell in there. David
Bell's coming off a good game,
coming off the best game of his career, and so you hope maybe he's got some confidence and the ability to build on that. And obviously a big situation. He had a big catch against Jacksonville in a big game, and so you're hoping that maybe he can make some more of those plays. But Flacco, he's 300 yards plus in the last 5. Coop has led all receivers in yardage in the last 4 games that he played with Flacco. Chiefs averaging over 90 yards and a touchdown a game the last 4. So we've got some weapons there, and I think Elijah Moore. I think we're going to need him. You're maybe going to need one play out of Marquise Goodwin. And that's how it's going to go. But what you're going to get. He knows the looks. I think Flacco's very good at letting the layups be layups, taking what they give him, and hopefully that will be enough.
Is this Joe's 13th playoff game?
It's his 16th playoff game.
Is it his 13th start?
I don't know. On Pro Football Focus earlier today, it said he's 10-5 in the playoffs.
10-5 in the playoffs. I wonder if that is. Yeah, I think that's. Just looking at this.
Where are you at?
I'm on Pro Football. I'm on Pro Football Reference. I was just reading something on one of that was writing about that he was 7-5 in Baltimore.
That's on the.
Or is that
I think that's on the road.
On the road? That could be. Yeah. Yeah, 10-5 overall in the 16th playoff game.
Yeah. And it's 3,290 days between his last playoff start, which was in 2014, which is the second longest ever.
His last playoff start?
Yeah.
There's a 2015 playoffs, 2014 season.
Yep.
Yeah, because he was on in 2019 with the Ravens when they were in it, but he didn't play. Yeah, so that's where that goes. All right, there you go. There's your setup. There's your breakdown. That's all everything you need to know. We'll be back on Monday to break it all down. Kidding. So much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 8:50.
We won't even be back on Monday.
Be sure to catch the Browns preview show tonight, 7 to 8, University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Wyatt Teller and The Voice joining Ken and Gerard on that program. And The Voice will be on the call.
He will.
Saturday. The great
You
Voice.
know
I
it.
told him, stay in your bubble. We'll come get you out Friday.
That's right.
Put you on a plane. We'll get you to Houston.
Well, he's got big operations going on at the Ponderosa with this cold coming in. So I'm sure that we have proper hay distribution.
Oh yeah, I asked when I had him on. We had him on while you were off. I asked
you.
for you. Yeah, for sure.
That's
So
very
we
good.
can't start this interview without.
Yeah, we got to know. I got to know what's going on there and how
He
things
said
are going.
that at that time they were all happy. They were all in their blankets. They were happy. They were eating. And that was it.
This was this morning with the windy, rainy, gross, whatever the hell it was. And it's not even that cold yet. I mean, it's coming. But this was the first time that, like, when I put, like, Buddy out, he was like, oh, I'm good.
So
normally when he goes, like, he's, like, ready to bounce around. Like, he sees snow, he's excited. But this morning, like, the combination of the wind and rain, he was like,
Oh, no. My two chased a squirrel for a quarter of a mile, it felt like. Came back, mud.
Asa
Head
goes
to
in.
toe.
Asa goes out now and pretends to go number 2.
Yeah.
And then runs in like she did it. And
And
it's
you're
like, no, you got to do this out there. Yeah. And now sometimes when my mom comes, she says, you want to go walk, and she's got her little shearling, and she's just like,
nah,
no.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Not
She
doing it.
runs away from my mom.
Did they get the squirrel? They never
no,
get the squirrel,
they
did
did not get the squirrel
Squirrels
today.
are tough to track
Thank
down.
God, because I've had to deal with that before.
Yeah, that's no good. Squirrels are tough. They're quick.
They're dumb.
Agile.
Yeah, they're very agile.
And they can run up trees, which pretty
undefeated.
Yeah.
The
Really
problem
is.
is when they come down.
Right.
Like, you have no need to come down.
No,
There's
stay
2
up.
dogs below. Nah,
Stay up.
We're going to try.
Unless they fall. That
That's
can happen
when they
too.
get 'em.
Next Level's next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 8:50 ESPN Cleveland.